Go Birds. That's what we're talking about, right? The Eagles?
Pretty much, man. We can talk about whatever, dude. Whatever you want to talk about at the end of the day. I think I missed your closing when you bought your house. Because we worked together, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget where that was, over by that hotel off 30.
Yeah, Eden Road.
Yes.
Can you start over?
Nope.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry, we'll leave it in.
You're just a loser. Yeah. Some days I think about firing him, and then I realize that there's nobody else that's gonna do it, so I have to deal with it. And
Tried to fire him so many times.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a friend.
Oh, well, that's probably
As a person,
worse.
I don't know.
Oh no. Oh no. How long you guys known each other?
I don't know. That was...
12 years? Something maybe?
I feel like I knew you before Tessa.
Yeah.
So it has to be over a
When
decade.
you guys met is when we started hanging out. That's when we started doing fight night.
Yeah, over at Aruga's.
Yeah. Because I think you actually brought her out for your guys' first date.
Wouldn't
That's
have been
a
my
bold strategy. Let's go to fight night for our first date.
It definitely wasn't our first date.
I was gonna
Early on
say.
now.
Yeah, it was early on.
She stuck
Our
around.
first date was up in Bloomsburg, so I know that much.
Alright.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna have her go to fight night with like you and John Weir and Big Mike. that would have ended the relationship real quick.
That probably would have been the end of it all. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, if she stuck through that, stick through anything, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. That's what you get for being good looking, right?
That's what they keep saying. That's what they
what I
keep
try.
saying. That's what you try. All right, good. Good. But yeah, we worked together, I guess. You bought your house 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, coming up on 2 years.
2 years. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
And you were with Vanguard back then. Or
That
was that before?
That was before. So I was Vanguard for 6 years, left in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, August 2022 is when I left Vanguard. And I've been with Thriving for 3 years, and next
Okay.
Friday is my last day with them, and then I'll be switching over to Mass Mutual.
Nice. All right. Same role the whole way through?
My last role at Vanguard, I had like 7 different jobs there, but my last job there was leading financial advisors.
Okay.
And I've been leading financial advisors now with Thriving for just over 3 years, but now I'm switching to be an advisor at Mass Mutual.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to be
That's-
working with clients rather than managing a team, which
Yeah.
I'm very excited for.
That'll be fun. That's a good
Yeah.
change. A little bit more client facing, a little more people focused.
No more mid-year reviews,
No.
year-end reviews, coaching records, performance improvement plans.
Oh man, wipe your hand. Now you just have to focus on your own.
Now I
Make
just have to
sure that
sell. Yeah,
you do it well enough to show that you had that job for a reason, right?
absolutely.
There you go. All right. What was the best part about it?
Leading people or...
Just the whole thing, like leading people, like the experiences you got, that switching from different companies.
I would say the best experience, I've kind of done it opposite of how most people would be going about it. I was able to work as a manager and review cases for the past 4 years, and really look at, just, I've had 18 people recently reporting to me, so 18 different advisors. I meet with them each week, so probably talking 2 to 3 cases with them each week. So I've done thousands of cases over the past 4 years, and I have a really good understanding of how it works, the different qualifications that you have to have, like the behavioral financial advisor type analyst, the certified financial planner designation, which hopefully I'll get sitting for that thing in November. So that's fun. Lots of studying for that.
Good luck.
Thank you. But yeah, it's I think just really being able to see so many different examples of client situations and all of the, I like to think of it as a puzzle and all the different pieces that you have to really consider when you're giving someone a financial plan. Because at the end of the day, each person's situation is unique, it's different, and you have to make sure that you're really taking into account their goals, their concerns, their risk tolerance and capacity to provide them the best recommendation.
Yeah. Yeah. Just molding everything to what they want and their preferences at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, realistically, like, what does that set your path down into, like, a specific portfolio type? Are you going to be doing, like, individual stock trading? Or are you going to be like, hey, here's the 75 different mutual funds that we always use and I think will be the best fits for you, and you're going to let it rip?
I'm going to be as holistic as possible. I've never been a believer, and it's probably because of starting at Vanguard. I've never been a believer in individual stock picks. There are some stocks that you can have that mean something to you personally. You worked for a company and you got stocks as part of your benefits. There's nothing wrong with it. No. But I just think for the average investor, and quite frankly, the average advisor, there's no way you can know enough about every company to sit there and say, this is a good stock pick right now.
Yeah.
When you're buying a mutual fund that has all these underlying funds, you have teams of people who that's all they do. Just analysts who are looking at these companies, figuring out their strengths, their weaknesses. Is it a good time to buy? Should we be selling it? And it really just allows you to have the best opportunity then for growth, no matter what happens in the market. So I'm not going to be doing too much individual stocks. It's just not something I really believe in as a good portfolio, but I do want to be holistic and look at all the options. So stock market has a lot of positives, has a lot of negatives. You never know what's going to happen. One comment from someone in a position of power, whether that's a large company, whether that's the president or whoever, one thing can really set off the market and really negatively affect you. So I want to look at annuities. I want to look at life insurance, because people think of life insurance as, oh, it's just if I die, but there's a lot of benefits from tax perspectives on why you should be investing in life insurance depending on your situation, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's something we always have to say is it's never general. I'd never give advice from a general standpoint like this. It's always about a specific situation.
Yeah. Everything's super specific to what the clients need at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dude, you said that, somebody in a position of power can just make a comment and it is just so resonating within the mortgage world, just because of the fact that, like, our beloved Fed chair, Jay Powell. Shout out Jay Powell. He just opens his mouth and the market just tanks. And it doesn't matter. Like, it's just every time he says something, dovish, hawkish, doesn't make a difference. It's just like, okay, cool. Let's see what happens today. And like the moment that he gets on screen, it's just like, oh, okay, let's raise interest rates, because Powell is speaking again and he's going to say something stupid, or it's just no confidence in anything. So it's just been the roller coaster ride that you get to go on within that power trip, I guess we can call it, sort of deal with these folks that are in power is just insane. Like, I don't understand how they have so much control over how their words have so much sway over what happens within our worlds in terms of finance.
And they don't pick their words as carefully as they probably should, knowing that everyone is hanging on every syllable that they say.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like from a mortgage perspective, when he talks and the fight between him and Trump right now, negatively affects you. It's honestly pretty good for a lot of investors, because like your annuity rates have been really good recently. You've got good guarantees. So if you had money to invest, you're close to retirement or in retirement, and you're looking for that paycheck like you had got while you were still working, the high interest rate environment of the past few years, it's been fantastic. For your home buyers, not so much. When I had my house in King Street, King Street in Lancaster City, we were paying 2%. We're now paying 7%. My credit score is 80 points higher than it had been 5 years ago, but I'm being raked through the coals. So it's like I'm waiting on that drop, but I also know I'm not anywhere near time to put money into an annuity or some kind of a fixed rate product. So it just depends again on the individual and what stage are you in. Are you looking to invest or are you looking to borrow? This environment's terrible for the borrower and it's great for the investor. So
that seems to be true, and I do love the whole battle that the two of them are having as well. It's just been so funny to watch. And I always tell people, like, look, at the end of the day, like, when mortgage rates are bad, the stock market's really good. So it feels really good on like my retirement plan sort of deal. But then like when I look at like my paychecks and stuff, I really get sad because it's like, okay, cool. Like, we're just not closing as much and we're not doing as many deals because people are just not, they're just rate sensitivity is just pushing people away, and they're not doing the normal home buying stuff. That plus the fact that home prices are just so exorbitantly higher than what realistically they probably should be. right? At the end of the day. So it's just kind of dealing with those and figuring it all out. But look at this shirt. Look at this crazy shirt.
Go Birds.
I love it. I love it.
Kelsey's still in our heart.
Oh, he's
Jason, if you're listening, love you.
We'll get him eventually.
Kelsey's listening to this. We made it.
You
We
made
made it. Hey, look, Mom, I made it. Oh, man. This is a big Birds fan then?
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on camera. I can.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Ooh, I'm gonna knock over your wine. Look at that. Go Birds.
Oh, man.
Go Birds.
Jeez. Every
Little
iteration of the
money.
logo, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. What? Why? Just because
Why
you're
not?
that much of a fanatic?
Yeah, I don't miss a game.
No?
The last game I missed was week 2 of 2017.
Okay.
Eagles versus Chiefs, the year that after they lost to the Chiefs, they didn't lose again until they played Seattle that year
Yeah.
for a Super Bowl victory. I'd been working a second job at that point, and I just forgot that I got to football season and didn't ask off on a Sunday. And I was driving a bus, and I'm like, every time we stopped, I'm like trying to pull up my phone, like, look, like, what's going on?
Oh,
Not while I
man.
was driving, like at the
Oh,
actual
yeah.
stops
Yeah,
itself.
okay.
But yeah, not that crazy. But my cousin's wedding, that was when they played the Falcons that year in the playoffs, and I had the phone on the table watching the Eagles game. I don't care about the wedding.
Jeez.
Love you, Kenny, but I did not care about the wedding at that point. I cared about the Birds in the playoffs.
Yeah. Hey, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. They had a good run.
Yeah.
They've had a good run.
Been fun.
Yeah.
Just watched that Chiefs Kingdom documentary.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Just wanted to
seen that
watch
one
the
yet.
last episode, just watch them get their asses kicked.
There you go.
This is I didn't care about
fair.
the Chiefs. I just wanted to watch them lose.
Yep.
Second time, you know?
Actually, I mean, hey,
Why not?
you know, watch Kermit the Frog get beaten again.
Yeah, we were in Philly for the Super Bowl, and there was a guy
Oh,
in
my.
this big Eagles like inflatable costume riding
Yeah.
around on a scooter, pulling wheelies right in Center City. Yeah, he had a Kermit the Frog in a Chiefs jersey tied to the back of it, just being like dragged along the street.
Oh, my word.
That was a good time.
That is one thing that they do say. The Eagles fans are crazy.
We like to have a good
Aren't they?
time,
Yeah, that is true.
and now we've actually won, so we actually have something to like.
Yeah, brag
Talk
about
about-
and like have fun with. Yeah.
Yeah, before 2017, we were just rowdy for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably rowdy because we just hadn't won, and now we've just kind of
Correct.
continued that in.
Just seems to be the Philly mentality. Broad Street bullies and
You have to.
the Birds and everything else. So
Yeah, never Flyers. It wasn't the Flyers. That was the Broad Street Bullies. Yeah. Never got into hockey.
but it's just
too
the
much.
like Philly mentality of just like
blue collar, go out there,
yep,
get the work
beat
done.
everybody up and then move on with your life sort of
Yeah.
deal.
Number one defense
I,
last year.
That was the other thing. I just saw that some NFL statistician or salary cap thing just got posted the other week, and they showed like every team and like what the salaries are for their defense.
Mm-hmm.
And Pennsylvania has the largest spread because the Steelers are number 1 in the most expensive defense.
TJ Watt.
Probably the worst in the freaking NFL. And then the Eagles are at the lowest end. It was like 66 million to like 177 million.
Yeah, because don't Steelers
insane.
have Minka Fitzpatrick still?
Yeah. Yeah, they got
TJ Watt. So you have so many of these like big name players out there, and then the Eagles, you have Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Zach Vaughn, who I mean, just got the big contract here recently, but was on a 1-year prove-it deal last year. So
Correct.
we've just had so many young guys step up. Nolan Smith, like just that whole group.
Yeah.
Jalix Hunt now, Moro Ajomo. We didn't have to pay all those like Milton Williams and Josh
Yeah.
Sweats, who fantastic players, but can't afford to pay everybody, and
Correct.
we've had a lot of the young guys step up, and excited to see what the Vanilla Gorilla does this year. Ty Robinson, and who else we just get? Jod Campbell. He's been looking good in preseason, so
Okay.
be
you
interesting
go.
to see what we're able to do.
I'll be curious just because it's such a young team all the time, and they just perform.
Andrew Makuba looked real good last week in preseason, though he hurt his hammy yesterday. So fingers crossed that's nothing serious. But
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be in a good spot for quite a while. I think.
There you go. All right. Meanwhile, my boys out in Pittsburgh are pulling in Aaron Rodgers to be their quarterback for the year.
How would you feel about?
I cried. It's all right. It's all good.
What about Anthony Richardson? How would you feel about him?
I don't know.
He's still really young. He's 23.
I know. He's just got too much to learn, I think, at the end of the day. And he just
Didn't play much in college.
That's
he
what
had
I mean.
like 14 games, I think.
Yeah, like it wasn't like he has enough experience to catch up to A, the speed of the game, and B, the decision making on stuff, So,
But a
We'll see.
place like Pittsburgh could make a lot of sense, right? You're behind
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, he's going to be your starter. If he goes down, you have someone who's relatively mobile if he's not tapping himself out because he's tired. But,
exactly.
he was young when he did that. I think he probably learned from the backlash he got on that one.
Probably.
Like, I can't run 100 yards, so, like, I understand the guy's pain. Like, I would be tapping myself out, too. But, like, I'm also not being paid millions of dollars to do it. So
precisely.
I don't think anyone's expecting me to be running.
No, I don't think so.
Have you seen me?
Yeah, they have now.
You have now.
They have now, but we get paid to sit behind our desks and meet with people and have conversations at the end of the day, and not.
That's where the angelic voice comes in.
That's right. Yeah, that is true. Because
Voice
every
of our
time we would
generation.
talk on the phone, it was just.
You got off. You felt a little more peaceful,
I
right?
felt I would leave your phone calls and I would just feel like I was happier and everything was better with my day. I don't know how you felt. You were probably just more frustrated.
No, I always had my questions answered, right? And that was what was important. I was probably asking some stupid questions.
I don't know.
'Cause it's funny when you think about it, right? Like, I have been in the financial advising space. You would think that I know about mortgages, but it's a whole different world. Like, you don't have one person who's going to be able to help you with every single thing that you're doing financially. You need a good team around you, right? A legal team to help you with your trusts, your wills, and all that kind of estate planning. You got your mortgage specialists who are going to be able to tell you, like, hey, rates dropped. You should be thinking about a refi. You shouldn't. I feel like you guys have probably just got hit with a ton of applications over the past few years that don't go anywhere because, I mean, who wants to spend money on closing costs for a 0.25% drop in your rate? It's probably not super beneficial, but you would be the better person to answer that.
Yeah, and really it just depends, especially like now with like so much equity in people's houses, right? Most people are just like, well, I have a ton of credit card debt because it's not like the cost, like income isn't keeping up with the cost of inflation at this point. So, people are just running up their credit cards and they're running into more and more problems as far as that goes. So they're just pulling money out of their property and saying, okay, cool, how do I fix this? And that's an easy solution at the end of the day to like turn around and go, okay, cool, well, here's a great way for us to tap into 35, 40 grand.
Good on your taxes too.
Yeah, it's good on your taxes. It's good on just your payment at the end of the day, because you got to figure 24% on a credit card versus 7% on a mortgage. That's a lot better. And you're getting that tax write-off, so you're getting double benefit at the end of the day on that stuff. So
yeah, and we've had a lot of market fluctuations too. You look back to April, just a couple of months ago, where the markets went down 20+%.
Yep.
No one's wanting to take out of a 401k. No one's wanting to have to like sell out and actually lock in the loss. So where can I borrow from? And that's where the mortgage and the home equity lines of credit and life insurance, like I mentioned earlier, and the cash that you could have within that if it's not a term policy, great places to borrow from where you're paying yourself back, basically the interest rather than having to pay to the bank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It is interesting. Speaking of bank-wise, why the change from Vanguard to Thrivent to now Mass Mutual, just opportunities at the end of the day to be closer to home, or is it just like a...
It's just more of what my passion is and the opportunity that presented itself.
Okay.
Vanguard, it was a lot about the drive. At that point, I was in southern Lancaster County. Well, I guess when I technically left, I was at King Street already, but for a long time with Vanguard, I was driving an hour 15 plus each way.
Yeah.
And not that it really matters, but the sun was always in my eyes each way. In the morning, I'm going east, and way home, I'm coming west, and I had glasses at that point. And I always had headaches. I was always frustrated, so I didn't like to drive. COVID was fantastic. I got to work from home, got to see that I could work from home, still get my job done at a high level. I didn't need to be in the office, and I wasn't putting all the wear and tear on my car and tires, oil changes, gas. I got a huge pay increase just from working from home, even while I was at Vanguard. Thrivent reached out to me and said, hey, we're looking for financial advising managers who have experience leading advisors, and we're going to go holistic. Vanguard does really great with their investments. That is their focus. That's all they do. They got out of the annuity business in 2017, I want to say.
Okay.
I think it was like 2016, 2017 timeframe. They got out of annuities. They don't do life insurance.
Yep.
So it's investments. You have to have money to invest, and that's all they can help you with.
Yeah.
Thrivent, and again, that is not a shot at Vanguard, but that is their bread and butter and their specialty. Thrivent has products and solutions that span the gamut. They have homemade and self-made products like Money Canvas that helps people with budgeting if they don't have the extra money to start investing, to really figure out how am I going to work within my means, work within what I have to try to set myself up for a better future, whether that's increasing my 401k by 1% or starting to diversify that by life insurance, annuities, or other products.
That's cool.
I also got my life and health license back. I had that when I lived in Florida. I had been working with, who was that? Primerica. So I've been working with Primerica, just doing some life insurance sales, but Vanguard didn't require that license, so it lapsed. This let me get that back, so kind of a resume booster and getting just stronger into the industry. I've done that for 3 years, but what struck me with Mass Mutual is the role itself. I don't really know their products super well at this point. I'm not with them at this point, but they have a lot of good stuff to do. A lot of clients who have advisors who have either retired or moved and didn't keep up with their licenses in the state. So they have a lot of these orphaned clients, if we want to call it that, that need assistance. They have a lot of clients that they're getting from their seminars that they're holding, that they're looking for support with. And they also bring in a lot of people that are new to the industry who only have life and health licenses. So I'm going to be able to step in and help them partner with clients to get the investment acumen and the investment recommendations they need, since I have those licenses already, while they can focus on life and health and really getting into the industry. So it's going to be a pseudo mentorship type role, while also getting to work with the clients and build my own book, and start having equity in the work that I do, compared to management where, hey, I have to come in every day to keep getting a paycheck. So I like the job flexibility and things of that nature that I have with that opportunity.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Especially the mentorship part. That's always kind of fun to see, especially as people want to get into this stuff and do different things. I feel like there's been a lot of people that just go to Northwestern Mutual, and that's where you start your career in financial advising, because they give you a good footprint and what you're supposed to do. And then half the people, not even half, probably more than that, leave just because of the fact that they're like, I don't want to keep calling my phone contacts every day and forcing them to give me all their information and try to get them to switch from whoever they're working with to us. And then they just leave, or they push people out of the industry at the end of the day, and it just
Takes a long time.
Isn't ideal. So it does. Yeah.
You have to build up a book of business. People don't necessarily trust you with their 401k and their life savings when you're brand new. So you have to be able to speak clearly about the products. You have to understand how they all work together, show someone a picture, and really come to them with a good plan in place. And your new advisors just often don't have the expertise. There's not much education on this stuff outside of the industry. So you have to come in, you have a lot of exams you have to take, your series exams, your SIE, your series 7 or 6. If you want to get into investment advisory, then you need your 66 license. So if you don't have a company that's paying you to study, it's probably taking you 6 months, give or take, to sit there and do that on top of your day-to-day role, trying to talk to people, trying to get them to invest. It's not an easy job to get started with. Yeah.
Just with the licensing alone. Realistically, you just listed off 6 different licenses, and you didn't even take you haven't even gone all the way down the rabbit hole with all of the ones that you can get for financial advisors and that sort of deal. That's just
the certified financial planner. You need 3 years of experience before you can even get that designation.
Yeah,
you can take the exam before the 3 years, but you can't use it until you have that experience. So there's a lot that you have to kind of be prepared for coming into the industry. You're competing against a lot of people who have been in the industry for a long time, have been getting referrals in an area, and you have to understand it's going to take a minute. But if you put in the effort and the focus and you find a good mentor, someone who knows what they're doing to help you, it's really not that bad of a transition. You just have to learn how to talk to people about these products because it is complex. And once you do that, you're in a good spot.
Okay. With that, in terms of like people that have been in the industry for so long, what's your thoughts on like the average age, and what are you seeing as far as like any kind of transition there, or is it just getting worse and worse every year? With, you know, there's the old heads are still in the industry and they're just sticking around because it's an easy job, right? To like keep making money and continuing to make money, as long as you're not really just making your clients mad at the end of the day, as long as you can perform the tasks. Like, you know, is there plenty of room for those people to stay around and then have the younger next generation come in too? Or is it something where you need to see a little bit of a transition?
You're going to see a transition whether we want to or not, as we have that older generation start to retire. The biggest question is going to be, do they sell their books to the new generation, where someone's going to have to go take out a loan, get the book, and then start getting that income right away, but you're getting income and then putting it right back to the loan that you just took out. So it's a nice way to get started, and if you're going to be in the industry long term, it's a great way to start. The other way that a lot of the old heads, if we want to call them that, are doing is they just retire. They can't find someone that wants to buy the book because of that exact reason. They don't want to be taking on that extra cost right off the bat and have this additional loan after oftentimes going to school, having a college degree, student loan debt, plus the interest on that is just very difficult for people to get out of. So they oftentimes just leave, and that's where those clients become kind of orphaned with whatever company that advisor had worked with.
Interesting.
And now you have those new advisors coming in and trying to just call out to these clients and re-engage them, let them know who they are, what they can bring to the table, and the value that they bring. So I think there's going to be a lot of transition, whether we want there to be or not. It's a big focus for many financial firms right now as people retire. So I think the need for financial advisors will grow. AI, open that can of worms, is, I think, going to have a pretty big influence on this industry, but it's not going to take away the need for an advisor. We've had robo-advisors for years out there. You can put in information, it will spit out results that it's telling you to do. You've been seeing even some folks on the internet who will just ask ChatGPT, like, I have $5,000, what should I invest in? And each day they say, well, how should I change my investment? And they're just using AI to tell them what they should be doing, and that's scanning. And I mean, they've had some success with it, but that's not taking into account what their goals are, what their risk tolerance or capacity is. That is just purely saying, this is the trade that you should make. It's great.
I see a lot of that with like the
helpful.
Day trader world. I feel like it's a little bit more prevalent because they just don't care. You know, they're very risk tolerant, and they're going to just dive in and say, all right, ChatGPT, run my investments for, however long, and then they just do everything it says. And like you said, you either see success or you don't. But it is interesting. I mean, like the whole, the transition in terms of like the old heads exiting and leaving and that sort of deal, and then the new folks coming in, just because like I look at like my world, right, and like my industry, it's like the average age of a loan officer in mortgages right now is like 56, I think, or 57, something along those lines. So like it's getting to that stage of, at what point is it time for people to start transitioning out, and then where's the opportunity going to go at the end of the day, and who's the next person up? And I'm just and our world's different because we don't have a lot of the older folks, or like older loan officers, will tell you like, oh well, I have a book of business that I can like give you and we'll sell to you and that sort of thing. And that's not how this industry works, right? Like ours is like strictly referral at the end of the day, or like your own like client sphere sort of thing, sending you business, and you can't just like sell that off to somebody, because there's not real, like, the realtor that you work with as a loan officer may not like me as a loan officer, and they're going to go somewhere else at the end of the day anyway. So I just gave you all this money to buy them from. Like that's a fantasy land.
I mean, it's the same with the advisors
Sort of
too,
deal.
right?
Correct.
As an advisor, they might love working with you, and I buy your book, and they could say, I hate this guy. This guy's an Eagles fan. I hate the Eagles, and I want nothing to do with him. And they take their money and they move it. I have no right to make them keep it there. I have no right to continue to get that money from them. I have to earn their business. I have to earn their trust, and it's a big risk to buy that book. So I think the industry is going to be challenged in the next few years. I'll be curious to see how AI starts playing a factor into that, and if it can get to a spot where it can really take into account people's goals and dreams and concerns and actually give you a result. I don't think that's going to happen for quite some time because there's just too many variables that you're constantly having to figure out. And I think that there is something to be said when you're talking about the money you've worked hard your whole life for. Do you want to trust it with a computer system that can be updated? Like, how many versions of Grok have there been? How many versions of ChatGPT have there been already?
Yeah, exactly.
I just saw an article yesterday that was talking about, I forget which one it even was. I forget which AI chatbot it was, but they updated it, and some guy had like fallen in love with the AI bot. Did you see that? Yeah, it's crazy. Be cautious there. I'm not saying it's crazy that someone fell in love with the chatbot. I'm saying
you can call it crazy. That's a little. There's no.
to each their own, right? But they wanted to sue now because the company made an update, and all that history that they had, all that conversation and the relationship that it had built that the person had built with this bot went away. And you're going to have that risk. And do you trust your financial planning then with that when something could be updated and it forgets all the information it already gave you? Is iteration 2.0 going to be a completely different financial plan that's going to have tax consequences for you that you weren't anticipating or that you can't afford just because there was an updated algorithm? There's so many risks with it, and that's where like a financial plan, which is really just a roadmap, right? It's a point in time. This is where we're starting. This is where we want to go to, and these are the stops that we're going to make along the way. But we're going to have to pivot. There's road work. There's construction. Your
income's going to go up or down. You're going to have kids. You're going to buy a new house. You're going to do these different things, and you got to
natural disasters
and do this face-to-face thing, so that way you can figure out what the next piece of the puzzle is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not stagnant. It's never stagnant. And that's, I think, what, if I could say something to like the clients, you think you know what you're doing, and that's not me trying to say I'm smarter than you. I am just focused in that area, right? It's my specialty. Just like when I wake up and I've thrown my back out, I'm not fixing it myself. I'm going to a physical therapist, someone who knows how to work with that. I don't think I'm dumb, but I also know that I'm not as smart as they are in that space. And if you're just thinking investments, you have all these target date funds that are going to get less risky as you get closer to that retirement period, and billions of dollars, probably trillions at this point throughout all the companies. People have their money in those funds, and there's nothing wrong with that innately. No. But do you think that you're in the same exact situation as everyone else invested in that fund, or is there a slight difference that we should be making? Correct. Is there another way that you could be investing to set yourself up for success or your kids up for success? Yeah. That way they're not getting hit with a major tax bill when they're in their highest earning years as that money passes on. Because we're coming into the next 20 years, you're going to see the largest shift in money that you've ever seen in the country.
Yeah, the biggest transfer of wealth ever is coming our direction.
Such a much more articulate way of saying it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You know how many articles I've read that say that exact thing? Yeah. Can I remember that this morning? No.
No, that's all right. You didn't finish your coffee yet.
I have not.
The largest wealth transfer in history is happening. Like, as we speak, it's going to take a couple, probably decades sort of deal of like 15, 20, 30 years to get through it all, by the time that our parents and grandparents and that sort of deal just all slowly pass on. But at the end of the day, the money that they made is just exorbitant. I look at the houses are just insane, right? Yeah. You look at it from that perspective of we grew up in houses that, our parents are like, oh, I paid $150,000 for this back in 1982 or 1990, whatever it was. And you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
it's worth 700 grand. It's worth 700,000. You didn't do a single thing to this property the entire time you've had it. Somehow it's worth $700,000. It's like, okay, yeah, just that in itself is just like, okay, cool. There's just $500,000. It's going to get transferred to 2 kids, 3 kids, whatever it is, right? Not to mention, they were still in the generation of pensions and a lot of IPOs coming at that time, like just
the .com era.
Correct. Just
Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, like all these companies that you could have invested in back there that have just grown exponentially. And I mean, that gets into the whole next conversation, right, around taxes and what kind of account are you in. You used to have defined benefit plans and pensions where you didn't have to worry about it. You knew you were going to get a paycheck for life.
Yep.
Now, the companies have shifted all that investment risk off of themselves onto the individual investor, the 401k participant, right, and the defined contribution plans. And has there been any additional education given to our society about that? No, I didn't have a single finance class in high school. I had to search that out in college.
Balancing checkbooks.
Yeah,
it was about how to balance your bank
right?
account. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't think I use my credit cards, then I pay my credit card off.
Yeah, and there's apps that tell me how much I've spent and break that down. I don't need to know how to balance a checkbook. Like,
not anymore.
Yeah, that was helpful, but it was a very outdated way of trying to teach finances to people.
Yeah.
So you've had that massive switch. Now people are in 401k plans predominantly, which are pre-tax. So people are retiring, and this, even if you have retirement, so many Americans are going into retirement with nothing. They're just relying on Social Security, which, I mean, hey, if your expenses are where they need to be to allow that, fantastic and good for you. Most people are not there.
Nope.
And that's why you have so many people looking for jobs, bagging groceries at the store, and then talk automation, right? Like we can bring this conversation into a million different avenues.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's getting harder to find those those easier, low-paying jobs that can just kind of make ends meet. But to get back to what we had been talking about there, the transfer of wealth. I mean, so many people are in these pre-tax accounts. When you die, if you had kids, they're probably in their highest earning years. They're 30, 40, 50 years old.
Yep.
Right? Now they get all this money, and the law changes back in 2017. The Tax Cuts and Job Act changed it, so now you have to pull all that money out within 10 years. So if there's $500,000 that was passed to you, you have $500,000 of additional income over the next 10 years that you're going to have to take out. That means ordinary income, your taxes go up.
It's just,
Yep.
the nightmare that causes is so much worse.
And people have no idea how to do the tax write-offs. They don't know what they should be doing to try to help themselves with that. The home equity lines of credit and how you could be using that money instead so that you're not having to get hit with the interest as much interest, or can write off the interest at least.
Yep.
So there's just so many things that people don't understand about the industry. And I would say my main goal as a financial advisor going into financial advising is really just helping people understand all of those different avenues and all of those different pieces that they need to be aware of so that they are set up in the best way possible.
Good. I like it. You said about the Social Security. Did you see have you ever logged into Social Security's website?
I have. Yep.
Have you seen the notification that they have buried in there about once they reach, I think it's 2035, anybody that retires after 2035 will only receive 80% of their original promised value?
I have not seen that. I mean, I think
it's on Social Security's website telling you that your contributions that you've been making for however long you've been making them, if you retire after the year 2035, your contributions are irrelevant. They're only going to give you 80% of what you've been.
It's probably promised. The greatest scam in American history, honestly.
Absolutely.
I think it started with the right intentions.
Yep.
But if you would have people's money go from their paycheck into a self-directed account where you only could invest in the 500 index, your money, you would be getting so much more when you retired than what Social Security is paying you for the same exact investment that you're doing.
Yep.
Now, the government is trying to sit there and use it as a guarantee, right?
Yeah.
So they are not investing in the 500 index with all of that money because that's too risky.
Yep.
So now they can't get the same return because they're saying, well, we're trying to guarantee it. The issue, though, is with the generation and the baby boomers and how many of them there are and how much payouts there are going to be. like, not to be morbid, but you almost, if you're a younger generation, have to hope for some kind of a
another COVID accident.
another COVID
kill half of
something.
them off, sort of deal.
Yeah, because I mean, if they stopped withdrawing that money, like that 2035 figure would drastically change.
Yeah, exactly.
But as society keeps living, like people keep living longer and longer, you have breakthroughs in medicines and surgeries and life-saving surgeries. I mean, that's only going to prolong it, and that means more money's coming out. But
Yeah, seriously, a really good friend of mine, his dad just had a heart transplant. I'm like, wow, he's great, doing fine.
yeah, my dad's had triple bypass, and like the longer they live, which is good. Like, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
I don't want my
die.
parents or my parents to disappear anytime soon.
Yeah, but I mean, from a dollars and cents perspective, the way that it was set up just can't work.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable, and
Yep.
they have to figure out a way to change it because. Again, I would rather just opt out of Social Security for myself at this point and even just put it into my own annuity at 5% interest rate that I could be getting right now.
Correct.
Like a 9-year fixed annuity.
Yeah.
You could be getting upwards of 5% at this point because the interest rates are high. Like,
Yeah.
that's more than I'm going to be getting from Social Security investing.
Yep.
But that's where it comes down to as well. Like, before you retire, do you have a plan set up? Do you have a few years of money in cash? That way, if there's a bear market, you're not selling at a loss. You
Yeah.
can give yourself that protection to cover those like April and Mays that we just had. If you were a recent retiree where all of a sudden you're taking the same amount that you always had, but it's a much larger percentage of the whole. I mean, there's just so many things you have to do there. Have an
Yeah.
annuity, look at Social Security, make sure that your guaranteed income is covering your expenses, and then the rest of it you can let ride a little more aggressively because you know your expenses are covered. So they call that the bucket strategy within financial advice, like really looking at which buckets you have your money in to cover you at different times. But again, that's not something that a system is going to be able to tell you because each person's situation is different.
Yeah.
Are you wanting to buy yourself a car at retirement? Are you wanting to travel the world? Like, are you going to sit at home and garden each day? Like, one thing is far more expensive than the other, and a financial engine isn't going to be able to tell you that. But someone who sits down and actually thinks about it and puts in conceptual thought, like,
Yeah.
they can figure out a plan to help you.
Absolutely. Okay. Interesting. So, like, realistically, end of the day, people involved. Cut out the AI.
I mean, I wouldn't say cut out. I think that AI can do a lot of really good things for you. If you can't afford an investor, a lot of places have minimums that you have to invest. You might not be able to. AI, I think, is a great way to teach you some basics, let you get started and start dipping your toes in the water. But would I be trusting my entire life savings with it? Absolutely not. I mean, I just started using Microsoft Copilot on my computer at work, and I mean, it's great. It can do a lot of good things, but it also gives me the wrong answer a lot of times when I ask it a question. It thinks it's giving me the right answer, and I understand why it gave me that answer, but it's not. It's just scanning and then
Pulling information.
it's pulling information. It's just API, like how websites work. It scans and then it says, "This is the answer. This is what I'm going to show you." It's not thinking on its own.
Yeah.
And 10 years from now, I'm sure AI is going to be leaps and bounds ahead of where it is at this point. But right now, I wouldn't be trusting it. I would say getting that relationship, being able to talk to someone, call them up when you're having anxiety or questions about what to do. That's honestly a big chunk of what you pay for with an advisor is the relationship and that peace of mind that you're getting. And some people will say they don't want to spend money on that, but then you run the risk of, again, trying to do it on your own, just like you wouldn't doing a appendectomy on yourself. You would go to a doctor for it. Like, you're going to pay for it. You might have to take an ambulance ride, but what's your other alternative? Death?
Yeah.
So and that's death of your finances, honestly.
Correct.
Trying to do it on your own. So
Well, that's a great way to end that. I like it. So, Steve, how people get in contact with you for future advice and just getting to know you better in terms of working together and that sort of deal.
Yeah, I would say that I am on LinkedIn, just under my name, Stephen Masel, Masel. So they can look me up there. Happy to throw out my cell number here too. I'm really not that popular, so if you text me, you're probably going to get a pretty quick response.
He has 2 friends. They're sitting in this room.
717-701-0059. So you can just shoot me a text, give me a call. I would be happy to have that conversation with you as I make that transition over to advising on my own. But I'm just really excited to take the years of experience and the experience of all the cases that I've got to see. What I've learned from all the advisors that I've got to manage and work with over the past few years. Opposite of the path most people take, which is do the job and then lead the job. I kind of did it opposite. I led and now I get to actually go in, but I think I'm far more prepared than I ever would have been without that career path. And excited to start getting to help people.
Love it. Can't wait to see what you do with it, man.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Cool. See, it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be, was it?
No, it was easy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the